Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, Reeling in Holistic Health, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I'm your host, Coach Rice, and I want to make sure that you tune in every Monday at 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, where I have my special guest on to talk about real issues that matter most. I want you to check us out on YouTube, Facebook Live, on Business Facebook page, also on the Be Awesome Network. Stay tuned. I think you're going to really like this next guest.
Welcome to Mondays with Coach Rice. It's a brand new week, the sun's shining bright, a chance to cast your net, step into the light. Life's full of challenges, it's a winding stream, but with Coach Rice, you'll find your dream.
Happy Monday and welcome to Casting the Net, where we care about your mental health and well-being. I am your host, Coach Rice, and with me today I have two amazing young women who I am also a part of the nonprofit that they are in. But let me just introduce you to them in a moment. Let me tell you a little bit about them. So the nonprofit is JuSco's Special Abilities Recreation Center. And so with me, I have Toya Scott. She is the CEO and founder of JuSco's Special Abilities Recreation Center and, autism and neurodiversity family life coach. She's a parent advocate and a homeschool mom. And also I have with me Christabel Dinwiddie. She is the founder and behavioral analyst, clinical director of alternative behavioral service. She has her own, both of them have their own company, and they are passionate about what they do. So let's just dive into it and into this interview so that you can get to know them better, just like I had to get to know them and learn about what they do. And I want you guys to do the same thing. Can each of you share a little bit about who you are and what personally connects you to JuSco's mission? So we're going to start with you, LaToya, because you are the CEO.
Yes. Hi. Thank you for having me on this beautiful platform. I just want to say this is a marvelous platform, so thank you. I am the CEO and founder of JuSco's Special Abilities Recreation Center, where I have an autistic son. His name is Julian, 9 years old. And I pretty much started this company because of Julian. We, received the diagnosis that he had autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorder, and a couple more diagnoses. And when he was diagnosed, I didn't know where to go, where to start. And that's what made us start the company originally, to get those resources and support that were not out there.
Okay. And Christabel, same question to you.
Well, so I started working in human service when I became a case manager back in 2014. And I then did some research on finding out more ways that I could support my clients. And so I went to school and I got a master's degree in applied behavior analysis, and I became a board certified behavior analyst. And so now I actually still work with adults, but now my passion is also with the children, so we can teach them some skills and reduce some of their problem behaviors, most of them right before they start school, so we can close that gap. But we also do work with kids that are still in school right now. I have a clinic base where the kids come and we provide services Monday through Friday. And then for the adults, we go into the group homes and we train staff and we make sure that the interventions are being run properly so that the clients can get the support that they need.
What made you personally connect to JuSco's mission?
So in terms of JuSco's mission, it was my employees actually ran into LaToya's husband when we had our clinic in the same building where he was working. And so they told him about the company and about me. And then Latoya called me one day and we just connected, and our passion about supporting individuals that are on the spectrum, but also that may have other disorders and disabilities. We just kind of connected on that, and we have been talking since then, and we haven't stopped. So we just both want to support both the parents and the clients, because the lack of resources within the communities can be such a challenge, and there's a lot of barriers when it comes to that. So we just kind of work together on figuring that out and supporting the families.
Okay, we actually gonna dive into that a little bit too as well. So,
Okay.
Toya, what moment, made you realize the urgency that families like yours need access to affordable therapy, such as what Christabel actually offers? What was that moment?
So the moment for me, when I realized how we were attending ABA therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and feeding therapy, and I just was running out of resources when it came to finances, but the therapies they were working. So I knew how important it was for Julian to attend all of these therapies, because it was shaping his life skills, shaping things like him being able to tie his shoes, brush his hair, brush his teeth, make his bed, those little life skills. And I thought about it. I started meeting people all over, dailies, with people with children with autism and adults. And parents were saying, I can't afford those individual therapies. And even with insurance, I had very good insurance. The out-of-pocket cost still was, very high. And we were talking like $2,000, $3,000 just out of pocket sometimes for ABA therapy. That was just one therapy. And so I was just looking for a way or something to help me financially, still attend these services, because my child needed. We went without sometimes just to send him to therapies. And, people were like, do you have Social Security check? No, I didn't get a Social Security check because, I made too much according to the government. So these things were barriers for us. So I wanted to create a company that helped people with these therapies. The therapy costs, just to have a community and be able to, have a regular life, be able to have quality life. Everybody deserves to have a quality life. So with that said, I just believe that there should be no need left behind at all. Everybody deserved a quality life, which would give those essential therapies to everybody. And ABA therapy actually, was a very big help to our family, and it's a very, very big help to thriving in our family. So it was very important that we continued those services.
And that's awesome. That's where your passion comes from, right? Your story. You have a
Yeah.
story behind it. And so, Christabel, this question is for you. Because you see it all the time. You constantly doing ABA session, therapy sessions. What difference does it make in, can you describe the difference that it makes in a child's life?
Yeah, I might be a little biased though, because I love what I do. And so, but truthfully, I have worked with different families and individuals, and I've been doing this for about 5 years on my own. We have worked with clients who may have been kicked out of school, right? Simply because they don't have the communication skills to say to the teachers, leave me alone, I need a break. Can I have a drink, please? Can I go to the bathroom? And so once we teach them those skills, it makes not only their lives easier, but now they can integrate back into the schools and then have more fun in the community. Because what happens with especially the kids that are still learning those skills and they have problem behaviors is that they are very limited in the activities that they can participate in. So their parents may have a challenging time even just taking them to Target, right? But once we reduce those behaviors, then they can have more access to the community. They can go back into the school with no problems. And then they can also excel academically, because now they can actually sit in the classroom and learn once we remove those other challenging behaviors. So I have seen improvement in that aspect, but also when it comes to the adults that may also have similar behaviors, it can be difficult for them also to be integrated into the community. So it's kind of similar to when we reduce behaviors for the kids, but for the adults especially, it's one thing to have a 6-year-old hit you in the face. But when you have a 36-year-old hit you in the face, that can be obviously more severe.
Wow.
And so reducing behaviors for them also allows them to have placement into the group homes, right? Less hospitalizations. They can have access to the community as well. And some of them are able to stay home with their parents and guardians. So ABA therapy can make a difference for anyone that needs it.
Well, thank you for, answering that question, because that's huge. How it makes such a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's heartbreaking sometimes, but what happens when, and this question is for, I guess I'll start with you, Toya, like when you could not, I know you have to be a little transparent here, when you could not afford therapy for your child, how, what happened how did it affect your family dynamic?
Yes, so it was the behavior part. So, my son would act out, and I didn't have, the ABA therapist there with me to help me assist him or stop with the meltdowns. Just as far as anything like, getting up in the morning, getting him out of bed, without having meltdowns and tantrums and hitting and biting and spitting. It helps, it hurts the family and their self-care. So now that all the attention is on the child, getting the child together, making sure the child gets up, we're feeding him, he's, getting him ready. We had problems with doing that, every day. So that kind of affects your everyday living, your everyday quality of life. So whereas we needed to go to the store, one of us only was able to go into the store instead of the whole family because of the tantrums and the meltdowns, because, we couldn't afford those services. And when we couldn't afford those services, we had to make a decision as to financial, what are we going to cut out in order to, make these services happen, because it's very vital that he gets this. And if he doesn't get it, it's going to be an effect on us, and not just us, but also the child suffers as well. The child is reaching out and trying to get our attention, but we don't know what he wants at the time, because it's a need that's not being met, right? So we're trying to figure out what that need is met. And, when you go through ABA, they not only work with the child or the adult, but they also work with the family. So there's also what we call parent meetings, where you meet with the BCBA. It will be somebody such as like Christabel, and she would train you on how to deal with the behaviors, what methods to use, and just how to have a basic quality of life. And without that, it's very hard to thrive in life, and it's very hard to help your loved one that has I don't want to say disability, but has the different ability, right? These are trained professionals that are here to help. So when you have someone that's not able to get those services, they're suffering. The whole family suffers. And I just, made it my mission, my passion. I don't want to see anybody suffering if they don't have to. Everyone deserves that quality of life, every need, whatever that is. If you have ADHD or Down syndrome, these are things that I believe that everyone should, be privileged to have. This is not just a want, but it's a need. It's a necessity for our individuals with special needs to be able to thrive in life and just to have a lot of quality of life. So that's very, very important. And also we want to bring in the community aspect of it. You're at the store, and I believe, store owners, grocery stores need to also understand how to be equipped with serving special needs people. Simple things as, having sensory hours. And, I know Walmart does this. They dim the music, I think, from like 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., where you can come in and it's nice and quiet and you can shop. So I've taken advantage of that, where I take my son to Walmart and we go in and we shop when it's nice and quiet. simple things as dimming lights, those little things that are different things that community can do as well. And if you see someone that is having a hard time with a person of a disability, don't judge, offer your help or support. Is there anything I can do for you at this moment? Because it's very important that we all support the individuals in this neurodivergent community. So all that to say is it hurts not just the individual that's a neurodivergent, but it also hurts the family members as well.
I am so glad that you mentioned that, and thanks for sharing such a personal outlook on it. And because you're correct, there's not enough people that's out here learning how, in the business world, how to deal with neurodivergent individuals. And it's a disservice, especially because they need to be seen as well. So thank you for sharing that. So Christabel, you deal with a lot of families, and I'm sure you run across some that can't afford the services.
Yeah.
What percentage would you say on an estimate that you see that happening?
I mean, private insurance is really expensive. And like Toya mentioned earlier, even for those families that have employment, full-time employment, and they have a private insurance policy, they still have to meet their deductibles and they still have to pay the co-pays. So at this point, it just seems like maybe even 75% of families may not be able to afford those therapies, to be honest.
Wow. That's pretty high. And I'm sure when you see it, how do you deal with that when you have a family that you realize that can't afford it?
Yeah. So in the past, I have talked to case managers because sometimes, depending on what region the family lives in, they may have case coordination agencies that can also assist in providing resources. So like if a family qualifies for home-based funding or something, instead of using their private insurance because they haven't met their deductibles and they're not able to pay and manage the co-pays, they can use their home-based waiver, and we can use that to provide services instead because Medicaid would pay 100%. Sometimes we also try to give them a payment plan so that they can afford to make those payments. As long as they make them, we'll be providing services while they work on that. We also try to see if the child doesn't need comprehensive ABA, then we can give them a schedule where they don't have to come in every day, but as long as we manage the behaviors, we train the parents, we also just focus on the actual skills that they need. So that way we're not using resources that, a family cannot afford to give up.
All right. Thank you for sharing. LaToya, this question is for you. How does JuSco's mission honors Julian Scott's legacy?
Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked that. So first of all, I just want to start by saying JuSco's is actually from Julian's name. So the JU is from Julian, and then the SCO is from Scott. So JuSco, his ABA team actually gave him that name when he was 3 years old. And
sounds like a hit name.
Yes. And everybody would just, kind of walk around and say, hey, JuSco, his little nickname. So that's how we honor him, because the company is really built because of him, and it's inspired by him. And it's inspired by, just being able to help other individuals that are just like him, that just want to have a quality life, like everybody else. Nothing different, nothing spectacular. Just be able to live in this world that is accepting and accommodating for his needs and other individuals that are on the spectrum or Down syndrome or any other neurodivergent out here. This world is, not very kind to the neurodivergent world, and we want to bring that difference. We want to make a difference. We want everybody to say, hey, we need to treat everybody with kindness, respect, and equality. So that's all.
Okay. And Christabel, can you share a story where a parent, was brought to tears because of what was, how effective the therapy was?
Oh, well, I have quite a few of those, but let me see if I can pick one. I had a young learner that we worked with from he was about 10 until he was about 13. And when we started working with him, his behaviors were pretty intense. Elopement through the window in the house, um, property destruction. So the house was torn up and, physical aggression. So he was at school hitting people, he was hitting, caregiver, sibling. So after working for about 3 years, and really the improvement started within a few weeks of working with him. He was able to learn how to request for things without hitting. He was able to sit and work with us on the table. He was able to wait when we say, give me a minute. So doing those things, you could tell the parents were very happy. And he actually ended up getting removed from a list to go into a residential facility because his behavior has improved so much. And so that is a type of improvement that was really, it was apparent to the parents. They saw how well his behavior has improved. And so, yeah, that brought them to tears.
Oh yeah, that put a smile on my face just hearing
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
That just hearing it. So this question is for you, Latoya. You have a caregivers facility group. How
Mhm.
important is that? And tell us how important is that and how receptive are the people that actually participate?
Yes. The caregiver support group is very important because, first, as a caregiver yourself, you have to make sure that you're healthy, right? We have to make sure we're mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, emotionally healthy, and physically healthy. Because if you don't take care of yourself, then who's going to be able to take care of that individual that you're taking care of, right? So it's very vital and important that we do that. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to help anyone else but yourself. So what we do is at the caregiver support group, we lead every month. It's every third Tuesday of the month with that we meet. And the caregivers can come and join and just be themselves, be them authentic self. If that is them coming in crying, screaming, upset, or if it's just coming in talking about a win that you had for the week or the month, whatever it is that you want to talk about. It's a designated space that they can come in and just be themselves and vent. And just also, not only that, they are able to receive professional help. Christabel is also on the panel for the caregiver support group, as well as the board of directors for JuScos as well. So she serves dual roles. And
I
so,
forgot that part on my introduction.
so just having that support to be able to come in and talk to someone that is a professional behavior analyst and get those feelings out and get advice, free advice at that, because again, you pay for ABA services with the ABA services, you will automatically get parent training. But Christabel so graciously comes in and gives us the advice to the parents, and they can open up and share and ask questions. And then what I do also, I am a autism and neurodivergent family life coach. So I am also giving free advice and information out to the parents and caregivers that attend. So they're getting a lot of information out, resources that are being provided to them as well. So it's very beneficial, and it's very important that, and I want to stress this to everybody, that if you are a caregiver, it is very important that you take care of yourself. And I don't care if that looks like, I always tell the caregiver support group, I don't care if that looks like getting a Kit Kat bar and going and sit in your car, the closet, for 2 seconds by yourself, just to make sure you're mentally healthy so that you can able to provide the care for your loved one. It's very important, because without that, where else are they going to get that support? So it's very important that you take care of yourself as the caregiver, the parent, or the loved one that you're supporting.
Right. That is so true. It's so true to take care of yourself because you don't want to give from an empty cup. And we definitely love what you do. And it's like it's like you have a movement and that's going on with passion behind it. You have the ABA therapy, you have the groups, and you homeschool as well. And
Yes.
and so it's like a movement, but it's a movement that really donors will make a huge difference when when it comes to helping this organization. So how can viewers become a part of this movement? Because it's a huge, you guys are changing lives every day. And so tell the viewers from, Latoya, from your point of view, how can viewers become a part of this movement? I've become a part of it and it's been amazing. So tell the viewers, how can they become a part of it?
So the way to become a part of the movement is, I just say this, our main goal is that no need is left behind. And at JuSco's, we believe every neurodivergent individual deserves access to therapies and resources, and they need to be able to thrive. And no matter what their financial situation, whether they have insurance or don't have insurance, or have, the insurance cover just a little bit of the services, no matter where you are, we want you to be able to support. So this December, we're kicking off our season of support fundraising campaign, and that is to raise $10,000 by the end of the month. So every dollar will go to making what once seemed impossible a reality for a family. So if you would like to donate, we ask that you support our mission, and you can visit us at JuScosRecCenter.org, and that's JuScosRecCenter.org. Whether it's $1, $2, $25, $100, or just whatever you would like to give, we will greatly appreciate it, because every bit makes a difference. So it just takes, one person, $1, and one share to make a difference. And with that together, I believe we can reach the goal of $10,000 to be able to help a family or two, receive these therapeutic services.
Thank you. And Christabel, this question is for you. I would say, what would you say to someone who feels that a small donation won't make a big difference? From your experience, what would you say to that person?
Well, you'd be surprised how many families are out there and cannot afford to get therapy for their kids, or even sometimes as a behavior analyst, when I'm providing services to a child and I can see that mom and dad may also benefit from therapy by talking to someone, that is also a recommendation that I do make when it's necessary. And so that donation could also go to supporting the parents to make sure that they get therapy, because they may need to sit on somebody's couch and just have that conversation of, this is how I'm feeling, and, having that type of support so they can then support their child better. So any amount would be helpful.
Thank you for sharing that. And I will definitely put the links in the video. But this is huge, you guys. There's a lot of neurodivergent individuals out there that really can use your help. And these young ladies, they have a movement going, and they are absolutely passionate. And I will put their website in. You have to see what they're doing and see what's going on with this movement. They are doing a phenomenal job helping individuals and families. And so we don't want to leave any family behind. So we would definitely put the donation link. We want to just say whatever's on your heart, please help out so that people can get the resources. Lack of resources can be detrimental to a family, as you heard. So I just want to thank LaToya and Christabel for sharing such amazing information that a lot of people may not know about. And so you would know how to reach them because I will put it in the video so that you can reach out to them. If you are struggling in those areas, resources are important. They change lives. So we definitely want to say thank you so much for listening. And to my audience, if you know someone that can use this video and know what to do or how to do it and get information about what resources are available out here and why we utilize those resources, please do share the video, subscribe to my channel so that you can get an alert, so that you would see when I have another guest. I always have guests on here. So we ask that you do that. And I just want to thank both of you guys for coming on. And if it's anything else before we say goodbye to the audience that you guys want to share, maybe anything that I left out with LaToya, is it anything you have?
Only thing I just want to say is you're not alone. Don't do this life alone. You know, there's a community out here that can help you go through this process. You know, living and dealing with a divergent individual. So just know we are here. You're not alone, and we would love to help you in any kind of way.
And Christabel, do you have any last words to share with the audience?
Sure. Well, what I would like to say is something that I have seen for a while I've been a provider for behavior services is that sometimes it's hard for families to accept a diagnosis. And so I would encourage families to ask questions to their providers, their pediatricians, so that we can get early intervention for the children. Because it's really important that we do that so we can close the gap before they even start formal schooling. And so being able to access those services early can really make a difference in somebody's life. So please look into it, have questions, ask your providers so that you can get the therapy nice and early so we can make that difference.
Well, thank you both. And to the audience, have a fantastic Monday and enjoy your day.
It's your time to shine. Journey to shine. Coach Rice Wisdom.